Hello everybody, welcome to another video presentation from AVY Painting Studios. I'm in Japan, my name's Josh, and today we're going to do a very special video for one of my patrons, Juan in the Netherlands, who's requested me to do a video or teach him how to assemble and pin metal models, and also using green stuff. So they're kind of the aspects for this video. So if you're unsure about how to use green stuff or how to use that to fill gaps and that kind of thing on your models, we're going to go through it now. So we're going to assemble this plastic Bretonian miniature. This is part of a commission that I'm doing for a gentleman in the US. So it's Hot Tub Mike. So Hot Tub Mike, if you're listening or watching this video, I hope you enjoy the process behind me putting this guy together. So you saw the materials we needed. Now, as is a plastic model, I like to use the knife edge of my Hobbycraft knife to scrape off all the mold lines. There'll be a mold line going through the center of each half that you need to scrape off, and to remove all those yucky mold lines before we get to assembling. I did the same with the head and the tail. I have some Mr. Hobby plastic glue, which is really not good stuff, I must say. I would not recommend buying it because it doesn't tend to bond very well to plastics. I don't know why, but I prefer the Tamiya or Revell plastic glues, or plastic cement is what they're called, I guess, if you're using that. So we're just going to use that to attach the head and the tail to the body first, and then do that before you seal it up, because if you seal it before putting the head and tail in it, they will not fit. They're designed specifically so that they will fit quite sturdily in the body. So then that's all glued together, looking pretty sharp. We're going to get some this green stuff. See, not blue stuff, green stuff. I'm just going to cut a very slight sliver here of this very small piece. You don't need that much at all. Less is better. We're going to knead it together until the two components turn green. So we'll just knead that together like that, and then I'm going to roll a very small part of that, tear some off and roll it onto my green modeling mat, and roll it into a nice sausage shape, and try to thin it out just using some water. You can see some water on my palette here as well, or my mat. So using the water so it doesn't stick to my fingers, and I do have a sculpting tool that you can get from most model shops. Even if it's like a place like a dollar shop, they have materials and tools for people doing paper crafts or like knitting or things like that. Something that has like a flat sort of rounded blunted edge on the end of it. I found that to be the best tool when applying green stuff and smoothing it out. As you can see, I'm sort of dipping the tool in the water and then pushing and manipulating the green stuff into places where I want it to go, and then smoothing it out with that particular tool. So just keep working at it, and as you can see in the speed up here, I'm sort of playing it all around the neck of the horse, because that's the biggest join. Now the back join is actually pretty good. It's sealed shut, and when you use that plastic cement, it should fuse and kind of melt the plastic together. You could use the blunt end of your or the sharp end, sorry, of your knife to scrape across the back of that barding as well, just to flatten it even more. I'm just using it here on the chest area because there is a gap here that I want to cover up, because you want to cover all those things up that before you start spraying it, so you don't have all these nasty looking gaps appearing on your nice horse before you start applying some paint. Again, the cement is applied to the bottom part of the horse frame and then snugly fit into the base. Now we're going to come to the metal model. I'm using my clippers. I'm going to take off the tab at the bottom here because we don't need that, as it's a mounted model, so it needs to be removed. And it's basically just cleaning up the figure as well. So using some needle files, using the hobby knife as well, scraping away, cleaning up all those bird edges. There's little tags on there that you need to have a look at, and I always like to thoroughly clean the models first before assembly, and especially before applying any kind of primer to the models. So now we're going to come to the pinning stage. Now I'm going to score a sort of a cross-hatched line here with my hobby knife as like a pilot hole for my drill vise, I'm using a 1mm drill bit, and I'm just going to mark on both sides my little pilot hole where I want that drill to sit, because I do not want it to forever like slip and obviously puncture my skin using that bloody thing, because it does hurt when you do pinch yourself with a drill vise when you're applying quite a bit of pressure. And so you need to do that on both sides. Make sure the holes are quite clean all the way through. In the actual upper torso, you want looking for about 4 or 5 millimeters to drill into to get a nice grip and nice holding area there for the pin. Now the pin is a paper clip. Okay, it's about 0.8, 0.9 millimeters in diameter, so it's fairly snug. It's not too tight. It goes in nice and easy. Apply some super glue. Get your clippers. Now you want to cut it fairly long because it's a mounted model. I want it to go through the legs and then into the horse. So now, obviously, this horse is designed for plastic kits, and it already has a massive hole in the saddle. But that's okay. We can either cover that up later, or we can just glue the rider to the top of the horse. And from here, I'm just going to apply some green stuff that's all fresh and wet and ready to roll on my green modeling mat. And again, in a very thin sausage that I've sort of rolled onto the mat there, I'm going to apply that to the torso, so there'll be a gap between the torso and the legs, and we want to cover that up so it's all nice and neat before we start painting the model, priming it and painting it. So again, the same kind of application, using that sort of flat-ended part of the modeling tool to smooth out and to manipulate that green stuff in places where you want it to go. And just again, keep it thin, keep it sort of less is better, because the more you put on there, the uglier the join will be, and it will come out and stand out too much. So I'm just dry fitting the top part of the banner pole. It's got the sort of trophy at the top there with the helmet and some kind of dragon motif at the top there. So we're just going to glue that into place and let it sit there and dry before we go to the next step. And then once it's dry, we can add some more green stuff to cover any holes. So we can sort of just make that a seamless join there with the green stuff. Okay, so that's it, guys. We've almost finished. We've just done that. I've assembled it and I've sprayed it white, ready to be painted. So check out that in the next tutorial when I get around to painting it for my customer. Thank you very much. It's been sponsored by AVY Painting Studios Japan. If you'd like to listen to the podcast and listen to interviews with other people out there in the community, please do. If you'd like to support me, please consider becoming a patron. Thanks again for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves and happy hobbying. Take care. Bye-bye.